All right, what is up today, guys? Back to you with another video idea that I got from my mortgage broker, Ryan Irish. And we were talking about running comps on properties and just being a little bit transparent with sellers on how we actually value properties on the MLS. Let me switch my screen. Um, the last 6 months have been tough with prices falling and then being so many homes on the market. We've had to price things a little bit differently. I myself, I comp things a little differently than the average realtor. I was trained a little bit more like an appraiser and how appraisers pull value, and so show you guys kind of how I choose comps and how I pull value on my listings. And what I've got here, I've got a property that I'll be listing in a few weeks, which is 3520 Richmond Drive, right off of Peterson in like kind of North Carefree area. This is a 5-bed, 3-bath house, 2,502 square feet. I already kind of got started in here, and well, I'll kind of explain to you guys. So what I did, I've got sold listings. I don't like it defaults at 180. I like to go a little bit closer because prices have fallen. So I'd like to see what's sold a little bit, closer to now rather than stuff 6 months ago. I don't do a search radius this way. In fact, what I do, and again, it's going to be specific for different properties, but what I do for properties, again, if I'm familiar with the neighborhood, and again, this is like this side of Powers, these homes, so it's like the listing is right about here. And I can tell you, people who are looking right about here are also looking down this way, and are also looking over here, and are also looking over here. So even though the mile radius is a really great default, you don't want to stick with it all of the time. It works in certain areas. If you only do, like if you're a realtor and you only do the circle radius, try this out because this will help get you some better comps. This is actually how appraisers will look at value. Appraisers will go out much further than a mile, and they'll go back all the way up to 12 months, whereas we'll try to stay at 6 months. So again, I mean, we do things a little differently than each other. Since this property is a 5-bed, 3-bath, I had actually done some looking, and if you see, and I just go to 5-bed, it only gives us 4 matches. There's not a whole lot of 5-bed, 3-baths in the community. Well, now here I'll show you this. There may be some 5-bed, 4-baths in the community. So if I go to 5, I go 3 to 4 bathrooms. And at the end of the day, an extra bathroom usually doesn't get you a whole lot of value. Um, you start to see these. You see where they are in the community. So there's a couple up here off of Barnes. There's one out this way, one over here, one right across the street, and then one down this way. So you actually look at these guys. There's a few uh, good price homes. The one thing that I didn't put in so far is our square footage. So we're at 2,500. Let's go 22 to like 2,750 because we don't want to go too big. So that didn't really help us a whole lot. We still only have 4 matches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to the 3 beds, and I'm going to go 4 to 5 bedrooms because that's what's going to affect people more. If you don't necessarily need that 5th bedroom, usually ends up being like a game room or an office or something like that if you don't have the extra kids for it. So the 5th bedroom is actually a great option because it gives you flex space, gives you an option of kind of what you want to do with it. And again, we're only looking right now at sold listings. We're not looking at what's actually sitting on the market. So if I'm looking at stuff that's a little bit more comparable square footage wise, these are all a little bit smaller, we're probably going to stick with these guys. And we have a few. We've got stuff that's all the way at the high 400s up into the 500 mark. The last thing that I'm going to go ahead and check on is see what the square footage brings us for the extra bathroom and see if there's any other changes. All of these homes have garages, so we're not using that as a search item. It didn't really bring a whole lot more up. There are definitely a couple that we can comp off that gives it that little bit higher value, which is really nice. And then again, what I like to do is I like to be a little bit pickier when it comes to the conditioning on some of the listings. So I know the house that we're looking at now is, or the house that we're listing is in pretty good shape. This one at 295, we can pretty much throw that out. That's probably a junk house. So I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna pick a few based off square footage because we want one that's a little bit less. We want some that are as spot on as we can. That's the closest square footage wise that we can. This is just a hair over, and then this is another one that again just a hair over. So square footage wise, these ones are putting us really, really close to what we're looking for. and then take a peek at condition. This house, right off the bat, looks nice. House is really nice, new, modern. It's exactly what you want to see. Got another one. This one's a 3-car garage. Really interesting landscaping. That can be a plus or a con for some people. Not as modern, but house is still in really good shape from the photos. A lot of us know photos can really change things. When you go look at a house, they can make it look better, make it look worse. I like that living area right there. That's actually really cool. I'm a big fan of these split levels and then out to the deck. So this house is in very, very similar condition to the one that we're listing. Sold for $500. Fraser Lane. Exterior is not as appealing, but it's got a nice grass. Oh, it's got a big gravel pit here for like an RV or trailer or just extra cars. This house is nice. Nothing wrong with this. It's in great shape. It's not falling apart. It's fairly modern. It's got decent appliances. Got the deck. Paint looks okay. You know, some people might say you want updated bathroom, and that's fine. I like that. It's got the bar. That's cool. That's a big plus. Another one sold for $475, and that sold pretty recently. And then here we go. Willow Wind is just over 100 square foot more, and it's got the 3rd-car garage. Usually, a 3rd-car garage spot doesn't add a ton of value. And we're looking at this one in reverse. This has got a really nice yard. This is a really nice yard. Big yard, too. Unfinished basement. It could just been a rec room. Staged nicely. Carpet throughout. Bathrooms actually seem fine. Again, if you want to update those, update them. Backyard's real nice. And the kitchen's not as updated. Definitely older cabinets. They're nice. If you like the wood look, they're definitely nice. You can tell the appliances aren't as new either. The fireplace is a nice touch too. And the privacy fence there is cool. You're looking at it. I mean, that's right butt up next to the neighbors. That's how most of these houses are. Going with these few properties, while this sold in 3 days on market, and it's actually just like the house that we're comping. See, it backs up to Barnes. Ours backs up to Peterson. So these are actually really, really great comps to use. So if I'm going to go back and I'm going to do, and I like to do our quick CMA because it spits out just it gives you 2 numbers, right? It gives you an average and a median. I like to go off of our median rather than the average because I think the median is a better number to use. And it looks like all of these were at about they all sold for about 5% less than they listed for. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, they actually sold very close to value, and they all sold around that 50, 53, 49. It's pretty close, 50-day mark. So, I mean, you're looking at a value that's very, very close to $500,000, which is strong for that neighborhood. And then the last thing that we'll look at is we're actually going to look at what's under contract. And there's not a ton. So right now, we've got 3 under contract, 5 pending. It means the same thing. It's just how you select it in the MLS. Let's look at our square footage. So right about the square footage we're at, we've got one that's a 432, 2,457 square feet. 562 is what the pending list price was at. I had to reach out to the agent to actually find out because you don't know the close price in the MLS until it actually is moved to sold. So maybe they're not getting 562, right? But if they're getting even 550, that's a great price. And then 485, again, that still puts us close to that $500,000 value. There's quite a few of these that actually put us right where we're kind of looking to be. Another one at 475, and then even though this is a little bit bigger, the Layton at 525. So there's some homes out there, and this is our best comp right there for pending because that is spot on. We just have one more bedroom. So there's definitely possibilities that, you could get more as a seller if you're looking to sell based off of what these numbers are looking at. And then there's only a few active in this range. We've got 2 at 495, 1 at 469. So, there's not a whole lot for sale in this area. This is the reason why I like to pull comps the way that I pull, because getting a better idea of the market as a whole, not just what's sold, not just what's sold in a mile radius, but getting a better idea of what's actually out there on the market, what your competition is going to be. And this goes to show, like let's say you're a seller, you could probably get that high 400, low 500 range, maybe list it like right at 500 and see what comes by. And then also knowing again that the sold listings under contract in 3 days in that area is really, really good. So homes that are in good condition are definitely going to sell for that extra little bit, especially when you're seeing, very, very similar size price home, 436, 495. It makes a big difference. And these are all, again, in that same search radius area. So that's really about it. I hope this brings a little bit of insight to you guys on how we look at homes. When you're looking at stuff that's a little bit more rural, you're looking at stuff that's in like the mountains. Again, you got to be very subjective about the homes themselves. You can't just say, 4 beds, 3 baths, 2-car garage, and then just pick a few houses. You got to be very critical about what you're actually looking at. I think that there's a lot of properties out there, once you actually start to expand that search, that you're going to find that are better comparables than you were finding by expanding that search. And again, think if you're a realtor or you've been somebody who's been looking at homes, how many times have you looked at homes that were only in a 1-mile radius or 2-mile radius? You're likely looking at homes within a 5 to 6-mile radius. So it's fair to comp homes even in that bigger distance if you can find ones that work as comparables. If you guys have any questions about, again, how I do this, any questions on values, you want me to run a CMA on your property, I would love to, and give you what I think is going to be the best value to list it at. Because not only do you want to sell it for the most that you can, but you want to sell it for a price that's actually going to get it sold in a reasonable amount of time. So again, any questions, I'd love to help you guys out. Thanks for watching.